The real turning point for Wendy's, the one that cemented its place in history, came with an innovation that seems so simple today, but was revolutionary at the time: the drive-through window. In 1979, Wendy's made it easier than ever for customers to get their fresh, made-to-order food without even leaving their cars. This simple idea completely transformed the fast food industry. It wasn't just a convenience. It was a fundamental shift in how people accessed quick meals. Soon, the drive-through became a standard, a feature that nearly every fast food chain had to adopt just to keep up. Wendy's didn't invent fast food, but it perfected the art of getting it to you faster. But innovation in the kitchen and at the window wasn't enough. Wendy's needed to capture the hearts and minds of America, and they did it with 3 simple words: "Where's the beef?" In 1984, Wendy's launched what would become one of the most iconic advertising campaigns of all time. The commercial featured 3 elderly women examining a comically large bun from a competitor with a tiny, almost invisible meat patty. One of them, Clara Peller, leans in and barks that legendary line. It was an instant hit. The phrase wasn't just a slogan. It became a cultural phenomenon. People used it everywhere, from late-night talk shows to political debates, to question the substance of, well, just about anything. The impact on Wendy's was immediate and explosive. Sales surged by over 30%. Brand recognition went through the roof. Suddenly, Wendy's wasn't just another burger joint. It was a major player, a cultural touchstone. The "Where's the beef?" campaign perfectly encapsulated Wendy's core promise: we give you more of what you want, the fresh, juicy beef. It was a direct, witty, and unforgettable jab at the competition, and it firmly established Wendy's as a top contender in the brutal fast food wars. With the brand now firmly in the public consciousness, another star was about to emerge. And it was none other than the founder himself, Dave Thomas. In 1989, against his own initial reluctance, Dave became the face of Wendy's, appearing in what would become a series of over 800 commercials. This was a stroke of marketing genius. Unlike the polished, slick corporate executives you'd see from other companies, Dave was different. He wasn't an actor. He was just Dave. With his folksy demeanor, gentle voice, and genuine smile, he came across as honest, humble, and completely real. He'd talk about the importance of quality, about his commitment to fresh, never-frozen beef, and his belief in good old-fashioned values. He wasn't selling you a burger. He was inviting you into his restaurant. Customers didn't just like the ads. They connected with Dave on a personal level. They trusted him. And that trust transferred directly to the Wendy's brand. He wasn't a faceless corporation. He was the guy who promised you a good meal, and you believed him. His presence humanized the company in a way no slogan ever could. As Wendy's entered the 90s and 2000s, it began to expand its footprint globally. The challenge was to take the uniquely American brand and make it resonate with customers in different cultures, all while maintaining the core principles that made it successful in the first place. The focus remained squarely on quality, innovation, and consistency. Whether you're in Ohio or Japan, a Wendy's burger was expected to meet the same high standards. The company adapted its menu to local tastes, but never compromised on its foundational promise of fresh, high-quality ingredients. Then, in 2002, the heart of the company suffered a tremendous loss. Dave Thomas passed away, leaving behind a monumental legacy. The man who had become synonymous with Wendy's was gone. Many wondered if the brand could survive without its beloved founder and spokesperson. But Dave had built something stronger than just a chain of restaurants. He had embedded his principles deep into the company's DNA. His commitment to quality, integrity, and putting the customer first became the guiding philosophy for the next generation of leadership. The spirit of Dave Thomas was going to live on. In the years that followed, Wendy's proved its resilience. Instead of fading, the brand evolved. Recognizing the changing tastes and habits of a new generation, Wendy's embarked on a massive modernization effort. Restaurants were redesigned with a sleeker, more contemporary look, featuring comfortable seating and fireplaces to create a more inviting premium fast food experience. The menu also evolved, with new items and salads that appealed to more health-conscious consumers, all while keeping the classic square patty burger at its core. But perhaps the most surprising and successful evolution came in the digital world. Wendy's didn't just create a social media presence. It built a personality. The Wendy's Twitter account became famous for its bold, sassy, and hilarious voice. It engaged in witty banter with customers and playfully roasted its competitors. This wasn't your typical corporate social media feed. It was clever, authentic, and unapologetically confident. By speaking the language of the internet, Wendy's connected with younger audiences in a way few legacy brands ever have, going viral time and time again, and proving that the brand was as fresh and relevant as ever. Today, Wendy's legacy is undeniable. From that single restaurant in Columbus, Ohio, the company has grown to over 7,000 locations worldwide. It generates billions of dollars in annual revenue and consistently ranks as one of the top fast food chains in America. In a market saturated with competition, where trends come and go, Wendy's continues to stand out. It does so by staying true to the simple promises Dave Thomas made from day one: fresh food, honest branding, and a refusal to cut corners. The story of Wendy's is more than just a business success story. It's a testament to the power of resilience. It proves that you don't need a perfect start or a privileged background to achieve something extraordinary. It requires a clear vision, an unwavering commitment to integrity, and the courage to do things differently. Dave Thomas didn't just build a restaurant. He built a relationship with his customers. He built trust. And in the end, it was that trust that turned a simple idea for a better burger into a global billion-dollar empire. If you enjoyed this true business story and want to discover more real journeys behind the world's biggest brands, make sure to subscribe to Rise Chrono. Thanks for watching. Most people see Wendy's and think of square burgers and a sassy Twitter account. But behind the iconic red pigtails is a story most of us have never heard. It's not a story about a privileged entrepreneur with a brilliant idea. It's the story of a man who failed more times than most people even try, a man who built a global brand from the rubble of a broken childhood. Before Wendy's became a billion-dollar empire, its founder, Dave Thomas, was a boy with no home, no diploma, and no clear path forward. His story doesn't start with opportunity. It starts with loss, instability, and a relentless will to survive. Dave Thomas was adopted as a baby, but his new life was far from a fairy tale. He lost his adoptive mother when he was just 5 years old. This devastating loss set the stage for a childhood defined by constant motion. His adoptive father, a construction worker, moved from job to job, town to town. Dave never stayed in one place long enough to make friends or feel like he belonged. Home was just a word, not a place. This rootless existence forced him to grow up fast. By the age of 12, while other kids were playing, Dave was already working in restaurants, washing dishes and cooking meals just to get by. School wasn't his world, the kitchen was. He eventually dropped out of high school, not because he wasn't smart, but because survival was his only priority. While his formal education ended early, his real-world education was just beginning. Working in those bustling, often chaotic restaurants, Dave learned everything from the ground up. He saw how food was prepped, how customers were served, and how the smallest details could make or break a business. He watched managers cut corners and others take pride in their work. Through it all, he developed a deep, unshakable respect for two things: quality and honesty. He came to believe that food should be real, simple, and served with pride. These weren't just business principles. They were life lessons forged in the heat of the kitchen. Dave's big break came when he crossed paths with another legendary figure, Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Dave wasn't just a low-level employee. He became one of the Colonel's most trusted allies. He took over several failing KFC franchises and, through sheer grit and business savvy, turned them around. He streamlined operations, improved the menu, and played a crucial role in making the KFC franchise model a massive success. His work was so impactful that when the company was eventually sold, Dave walked away with a life-changing amount of money. But more importantly, he walked away with invaluable experience, the kind of experience that would soon lay the foundation for his own empire. With money in his pocket and a deep understanding of the food industry, Dave noticed a disturbing trend. Fast food was getting faster, but it wasn't getting better. Restaurants were sacrificing quality for speed. Patties were frozen and perfectly round. Ingredients were hidden under layers of sauce and processed cheese. It felt dishonest. Dave believed customers deserved more. He dreamed of a place that didn't take shortcuts, a restaurant that was transparent about what it served. He wanted to build a place that felt like a family kitchen, not a factory assembly line. In 1969, in Columbus, Ohio, that dream became a reality. He named it after his 8-year-old daughter, Melinda, nicknamed Wendy. From day one, Wendy stood out. The burgers were square. Why? Dave wanted to show that the beef patties were so large they hung over the side of the bun. The square shape also visually communicated that they weren't stamped out of a frozen block. The beef itself was always fresh, never frozen, a revolutionary concept at the time. The menu was simple, focused, and honest. But success wasn't served on a silver platter. Wendy's was the new kid on the block, trying to compete with the Goliaths of the industry, McDonald's and Burger King. Many critics and competitors doubted that a new chain, especially one with higher standards and costs, could ever survive in such a crowded market. The early years were a struggle. Dave faced immense financial pressure and the slow, grinding reality of building a brand from scratch, but he refused to compromise. He held firm to his belief that if the food was genuinely better, customers would eventually notice. And slowly but surely they did. Word of mouth began to spread. People tasted the difference. They appreciated the freshness. They trusted the brand because it felt authentic. Wendy's wasn't trying to be something it wasn't. It was just good, honest food, done right. This steady, organic growth built a loyal customer base and laid the groundwork for a major breakthrough. By the mid-1970s, Wendy's started expanding across the United States. But it was one brilliant marketing move that would soon catapult the brand from a regional favorite into a national phenomenon and change the face of fast food forever. In the late 1970s, Wendy's introduced something truly innovative, the salad bar. It was a massive gamble. No other major fast food chain was offering fresh, customizable salads. It catered to a growing number of health-conscious consumers and set Wendy's apart as a place that offered real choice. Then, in the 1980s, the brand launched a marketing campaign that would become one of the most famous in advertising history. 3 elderly women stood at a competitor's counter, looked at a comically oversized bun with a tiny patty inside, and one of them, Clara Peller, famously barked, "Where's the beef?" The slogan was pure genius. It perfectly captured Wendy's core promise of quality and substance over flashy marketing. "Where's the beef?" became a national catchphrase, a cultural touchstone that everybody understood. The campaign was a massive success, driving sales through the roof and cementing Wendy's place in the top tier of fast food chains. But as the company grew into a corporate giant, it started to lose its way. In the late 80s, Dave Thomas has stepped back from day-to-day operations, and new management began to stray from his founding principles. The personal touch was disappearing. In response to declining sales, the company's executives asked Dave to come back, not as a manager, but as the official face and spokesperson of the brand. Dave was reluctant. He was a humble, behind-the-scenes guy, not a polished TV star. But he loved his company, so he agreed. Wearing his signature short-sleeved white shirt and red tie, he started appearing in commercials. He wasn't an actor. He was just Dave, talking honestly and warmly about his food. His awkward, genuine, and grandfatherly presence was a marketing masterstroke. He was the complete opposite of a slick corporate CEO. He was relatable. He was trustworthy. People didn't just see a founder. They saw a man who truly believed in his product. Dave Thomas went on to star in over 800 commercials, more than any other company founder in television history. He became one of the most recognizable faces in America, and in doing so, he brought Wendy's back to its roots. He reminded everyone that behind the corporation was a person, a set of values, and a simple promise: fresh, quality food. Dave Thomas's story is about more than just hamburgers. It's a powerful lesson in resilience. He turned a life of instability and hardship into a foundation of strength. He proved that you don't need a fancy degree or a perfect start to achieve incredible things. What you need is a core set of values and the courage to stick to them no matter what. He never forgot where he came from, and he spent much of his later life advocating for adoption, creating the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption to help children find permanent, loving homes, the one thing he always craved as a boy. Dave passed away in 2002, but his legacy is so much bigger than a fast food chain. So the next time you see a Wendy's, remember the man behind it. Remember the boy who washed dishes, the innovator who challenged an entire industry, and the grandfather who became the heart and soul of his own company. It's a reminder that the greatest success stories often come from the most unlikely beginnings. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories you've probably never heard. See you next time.